I grew up speaking English, and my Cantonese is, I only spoke it really with my grandmother, and then watching these like Hong Kong television shows.
Yeah. Growing up, what kind of things would you do every time you came to Chinatown?
Most important was having dinner at my grandmother's. As I got older, I would help her in the kitchen. It was my time with my grandma, and those are the most memorable moments for me, is like what happened in Chinatown, facilitated by these small businesses. There were a lot of places that my grandma would take me to. I think that there's less and less of these places that I could see my grandmother feeling welcome and not intimidated enough to go into. It's something for us at Welcome Chinatown we grapple with a lot.
Tell me a little bit about the work you've done with Lunar and or how you work with like other organizations or businesses.
They were really one of the first AAPI CPG brands that we've worked with and we've continued to work with over the years. We did a campaign shooting and featuring different Chinatown restaurants, and then that evolved into us thinking about how can Chinatown beverage programs evolve? And what would it look like to diversify beverage offerings to increase revenue overall? And we've just continued to work with them and gain insights into what is it like being a founder? What do you wish you had? What are the challenges that you're facing? So it helps us understand how we can shift our resources to better support entrepreneurs.
How do you feel about the responsibility that corporations or institutions like Whole Foods Market has to supporting community initiatives and supporting the community in general?
They have lots of responsibility. There have been so many studies now that show that purpose-driven companies will also be more successful. Yes, you should want to get involved in these social and drive civic engagement, but from a business sense, it is extremely rewarding and very practical. At least within the New York City community, you can see how much people want to contribute and figure out a way so that the next generation doesn't have to experience this.
I love these pink cups.
Yeah.
So cute. Cheers.
Cheers.
Potluck Club is our thing. My wife, honestly, she's the big boss here. She really runs laps around almost everyone here.
Why did you decide to open up a Cantonese American restaurant in Chinatown? Of all the places in New York City, Brooklyn, why Chinatown?
It had to be in Chinatown. We wanted to pay honor to our community, pay honor to everything we know about our culture, but also say, hey, yo, this is who we are. We were born here. In this year, this day and age, we're seeing the old things close down and not a lot of new energy is being renewed. My generation, they're leaving the nest. They're not necessarily living in Chinatown anymore. And they are not kind of showcasing who we are and our culture and bringing back energy into the community. And I wish there would be more of that. In all different Chinatowns, we caught wind of COVID first. It hits and everyone's stuck at home and then no one's coming to Chinatown. People were like, all right, we need help. The young generation, they were ready to help, you know, and you had amazing, amazing organizations. Welcome to Chinatown, our good friend Vic. She organized and it became bigger and bigger and they're still continually make a big difference. So let's learn from that. Let's continue this, but do it 100 times over.
Growing up in New York, I felt like there's a little bit of separation and self-segregation between different Asian backgrounds. But it was only really in the past few years where I'm like, wow, everybody's truly coming together. And it felt like we were as one, where I never felt that sense of unity before.
All the people that were never vocal before or never really cared or engaged, like texting me, they're like, yo, what can you tell me about this? Because obviously with the brand, you're more plugged into this. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Like I didn't know you cared.
Yes.
It was empowering. I mean, especially because like our journeys as creators, I can sometimes wonder, is my message getting out there? Like, do people actually care, and how many people care about this? What we're building matters.
Yes.
Beyond just selling a food or beverage product.
As Asian American born, we have that privilege to also take the time to understand and learn more of what our recipients really need. Not what we think that they need, but what do they really need so that their dignity is still intact.
All of us are starting companies as Asian Americans. We don't have a playbook. We don't have like something to look and be like, hey, that was the standard. So there is no precedent. We are setting the precedent
Yes.
for what an Asian American led company and how to like pass that in the culture of our companies. We're creating our future, and so I think that's just like it's powerful, and it's also scary.
It's also not fully a personal responsibility, right? Like when we talk gentrification, we are talking about policy. So like, of course, obviously on an individual level, we can do the best that we can to honor and protect legacies, but also knowing that like at the end of the day, we can't stop some of these things without policy change.
There's fried chicken and scallion biscuits. You have to try the jam to make the German house.